right. Welcome to the Pipeline of People podcast powered by Versorix, the show where boutique firm leaders trade less admin for more advisory. Each week, we share actionable tactics to keep your client pipeline full and your team performing at its best. I'm your host, Jaden Parisi, and let's dive in. Today's guest is Dr. P, Priscilla Kruser, founder and CEO of PK Consulting Solutions, a management consulting firm helping micro businesses scale smart, stay profitable, and beat the 5-year failure odds. Dr. P, welcome. Could you kick us
Hey.
off with a quick background and why you started PKCS?
Okay. Oh, you want quick background. We got small space of time. So I started the company. Let's do a really quick summation here. I started this company to really help micro business owners. And the micro business owners, if listeners are not familiar with it, the micro business owners are those businesses that have less than 10 employees, including the owner themselves. And with micro business owners, we have certain challenges and we got to be able to understand what those challenges are. Oh, too often people kind of roll out of bed, decide I'm going to be an entrepreneur, I'm going to start my business, and then they start calling themselves a small business owner. Then they start comparing themselves to small businesses in their community or those that they see online. The problem with that is they're comparing their business that's right now only just them to businesses that have 100, 150, and actually, some small businesses have 1,000 employees, depending on your industry. So if you do that type of comparison, you're kind of setting yourself up for a really long pathway of some negativity, right? Because you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I can't. How do I get capital? How am I going to get the funding for this? How am I going to get people to know about my service, my product? And you're kind of setting yourself up for failure. So when you have an understanding of what it is to be a micro business, what it is to understand where you fit into your industry. And of course, understanding your vision, your mission, your values for your company, what makes your company different. Some people call it value proposition, unique selling point. Once you understand those things, then you're better able to scale your micro business. You could stay in micro if you want to, or you could scale micro to be one of those 1,000 small businesses, right? 1,000 people strong small businesses. So it really does depend. So for me, really saw that there's a need for micro business owners and small business owners, especially if they have less than 200 employees, to truly understand how to scale their business and where operations, processes, and goals come into play when you're doing that scaling. So I focus on helping small businesses and micro businesses understand, how to really create appropriate operations, processes, and goals for their business so that they can be sustainable.
Okay, great. Do you still consider PKCS a micro business, or have you?
Yes, I am. I love it. No, it's me and a few others, and
Okay,
we're still small.
okay. Who do you love working with most?
Oh, you mean industry, right? Don't get me in trouble with my clients here. Because of my background is in education and psychology. So because of that, I do enjoy working with those micro businesses and small businesses that are within that mental health and educational field. So they'll have a sweet spot for them. And then after that, I would have to say it's the business owners who are into finance, and also technology, health and wellness, and then beauty.
Okay, great. How do you personally kind of show up in your business? Do you mostly do like coaching or consulting, leading ops behind the scenes?
It really depends, though. It depends on the day. It can vary by day. And that's part of why I love what I do, because it could be through business coaching, or it could be through management consulting. It could be through training. Could be just the leadership training with just a micro business owner themselves, or doing some leadership training with the leadership team. So it really does vary. I have fun doing all three of them
That's good. Sounds like you wear a lot of hats.
some days.
Yeah, that's something that we've been talking to a lot of the other guests about and managing that. But today we're going to dive into kind of visibility and standing out online as a consulting firm. So, micro businesses often struggle with this a lot without big marketing teams or any kind of sense of direction. Where do you see
Mhm.
them getting stuck the most?
Focusing on the wrong competitor to compare themselves to.
Mm,
So when you focus on that wrong competitor And I say around because a lot of times micro business owners and some small business owners don't take the time to understand who is their competition, right? They just want to get out there and start marketing. And a lot of them don't even understand marketing and they don't understand sales. And I've worked with a lot of people who are in the marketing space, and the challenges they encounter is clients get upset with them when they don't get results. But they can't get results because they need the client to tell them, who exactly am I supposed to be marketing your business to? What exactly is it that you're selling in your business? Who's your business for? And if you're working with a smaller marketing agency, they're expecting you to come with that information. If you have the luxury to be able to pay 5 figures for some of the amazing marketing and sales agencies out there, they're going to help walk you through, doing that full persona for your client, right? And I've also interacted with one of those agencies that they actually help you with some business development components first before they run any type of advertisement for your company. And the reason being is that if you don't understand where your business is going and who your business is for and how you're going to get there, then it's really hard to explain those things to other people. Then it's even harder to attract the clientele that you want. The other thing I see is business owners start their business. I want everybody to buy from me. I'm being realistic. Everybody ain't your client, they're not. And then it's like, oh, my friends and family. Your friends and family are not your clientele either. They might not even have any interest in the product or the service that you're selling. So you can't expect them to buy from you. So it's a matter of sitting down and thinking about who exactly is your business for and why did you start it? And I've talked to several business owners in different countries. They're like, yeah, I started it because I wanted to be my own boss. I wanted to be able to travel. I want to be the one making all decisions. And I'm like, okay, all that's still up here. Let's go down a little deeper, because if you're going to be coming at it from this point, how does anyone know what you're going to do? Then it is, oh, what I want to make money. Then I'm like, newsflash, everybody started their business to make money, because who wants to start a business and don't make any money? Come on.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
we're starting it so that we can make money. Even nonprofits are raising money for something, not necessarily for their nonprofit, but they're raising money for a purpose that they're going to fund. So there are all these different kinds of businesses. So when I encounter business owners and they said to me, yeah, I just want to run straight to marketing. I want to get some sales. That's what's going to get me out there. It's like, it'll get you out there, but will it get you what you're looking for? Because if you don't know who your business is for, you know, how can other people understand it? And that's part of why I created like the 4 must-haves for business is a little planning guide. And in that planning guide, there's a free planning guide you can download off the website. It talks about understanding who your business is, what you're actually selling in your business, when you're going to be making decisions, and how you make decisions in your business. So it's looking at all of those foundational and structural pieces for your business that helps you with getting the financing, with getting the marketing, with getting the sales, with getting partnerships. But you got to take the time to invest in those pieces that the outside world don't get to see so that your visibility can actually shine through.
Okay. Yeah. Very insightful. Is that related to the OPLE framework that
Yes,
you've created?
it is. It
What does that framework mean to you?
is the core of what I do. So, for those who are not familiar, chances are the spelling of OPLE you have in mind right now is not the spelling that it is. So, my OPLE is spelled OPLE, and it's spelled OPLE because one, I'm dyslexic, and two, because when I think of opal, the gem, a lot of people think opals are just those white gems with like these sparkly bits, but opals actually can occur as purple, blue, green, all different colors, and they have these diverse structures and unique characteristics. And that's how I view micro businesses, because every business starts small. I think it's Richard Branson who said it. Every business starts small. You can choose to remain small if you want to, or you can grow, right? But you got to understand the uniqueness of your business and you have to understand the structure of your business in order to be able to grow. So that's part of the wordplay there on OPLE. But then the O stands for organizational development, the P stands for personal skills and abilities, the L stands for leadership, and the E stands for education.
Okay, great. So your firm, you don't just help people stand out like you're doing it yourself. You have quite a strong personality, I would say. What have you
Thank you.
found to be the simplest, most effective way to kind of, build that credibility and visibility online?
For one, you got to show up. You got to definitely show up. You got to be who you are. You don't try to be somebody else. Be who you are and have that confidence in yourself. And I've had some business owners, male and female, say to me, your confidence is strong. And how did you get there? I'm like, I'm not quite sure how I got there. I just really took the time to believe in me. Yeah, I got my moments when I'm like, oh my gosh, is this really what I should be doing or who I really want to be? But at the end of it all, you got to be true to yourself. You got to know what it is you want to accomplish and what you want others to be able to understand from you. So just showing up. And for some people, showing up could be doing videos, it could be doing posts, it could be going out to different events, doing those networking, whether it's virtual networking or in-person networking. You got to figure out what fits where you want to go. Because there's so many different avenues that we can choose from. Not everyone is for you. Some people do podcast interviews and that's it. That's fine.
Yeah.
Some people go to events and they're speakers on the stage. That's fine. But you got to figure out what works for you and just be confident in your own personality. Not everybody's outgoing, but some days, even the introvert has to be a little outgoing. And even that could be scary, so it's just understanding what you have to confront sometimes, because there's some fears out there that we all have, just understanding how you're going to confront that fear and work towards it, and then just learn from that experience.
Absolutely. I filmed an episode a couple days ago actually with a high performance coach that has like 20 years background of being a teacher in the educational space. And one of the questions that we asked her was, what is the best piece of advice that you've ever been given? She says something very similar. So that seems to be a common theme.
Yeah. But you said she was an educator, so maybe it's the educator in us.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I just didn't want to say it.
We've seen some things as educators.
Yeah.
So it's like you got to understand who you are.
hmm can you walk us through how you prepare to show up online? Like, for example, the woman I was just talking about, so she likes to sing or dance before like an important meeting. Like, do you have any rituals like that?
Oh my goodness. It really does depend on the event. I'll be honest. Okay, like for instance, for this interview, one, I had to make sure it was on my calendar. And I had all my notifications set for it. And I was like, okay, I got to make sure I had some lunch. So that way I'm not going to be sitting here thinking about, oh my gosh, I'm so hungry. Actually get to be able to focus on what you're going to be saying to me. So for this one, it was definitely making sure I had some lunch. And then a few weeks ago, I was actually in Dubai at the Business Frontier Leadership Conclave and Awards. And I did an exclusive SOAR masterclass there. That's a masterclass nobody else has seen, and it was only created for that event. So only the participants got this class. So because of that, that put a little bit of pressure on me. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is the first time I'm doing this class. And it was also their inaugural event. So no pressure, right? I'm like, okay, I created this just for them based off of the theme that they have. And I'm going to be going to Dubai, presenting this class to business owners from all over the world. I'm like, okay, I could do this. I've done international events before, but it was just slightly different because it was an exclusively designed masterclass just for these attendees. So I'm like, okay, I got to make sure I got my slides. I got to make sure the music is in there, the animation's working. So I'm going through all the lists. I'm like, okay, I think I got the content. then of course, you're thinking the worst of the worst. Oh my gosh, the words would disappear. And it's like, no, I finished it in time, was able to prep it, and I submitted it. But then of course I'm still like, oh my gosh, what's gonna happen the day of this event? Walking up on the stage. Am I gonna trip and fall over a cord? Some weird things pop into your head. But the night before, what I made sure of was that I got me some rest. I listened to my favorite music. My favorite genre is soca music because I was born and raised in Barbados. And that helps to calm me down. Then the morning of, still listen to some more music because it helps me to just staying calm, and it helps ground me and puts me in that upbeat mood. So that way, once I walked through the door, I knew what I needed to be doing. But all of that still did not take away the butterflies as I'm walking up to the stage, right?
Yeah.
But it helped to keep me calm. And it really helped me to stay organized. And of course, reviewing the order and what I really wanted to say, those things play a role as well. But it's really just the music and like the inner self-talk that I have that helps me stay grounded for those kind of big events.
Yeah, for sure. And it sounds like being organized and prepared definitely plays a big part in that for sure.
It does.
Um, so you still consider yourself a micro business, and it sounds like, you get to travel a lot and work with a whole bunch of different people. What would be, you know, ideal for you and for PKCS kind of 6 to 12 months down the road? Like, where do you want to be?
Oh, is actually having that conversation recently. Uh, well, looking to really break into that Middle East and African market because there are a lot of changes happening in that part of the world, especially when it comes to women, women's rights, and women owning businesses. So being able to connect with organizations and businesses out there to help more businesses. Because to me, this is my opinion, could be a little biased, right? Because my target audience is micro businesses, but I truly believe that micro businesses are the backbone of any economy. And once we can help them truly structure themselves well for sustainability, then that is going to be beneficial, not just for the business owner, their families, the people they hire and their families, but the overarching community and the overarching economy within which that business exists. So for me, I really am trying to get into that market, working on it, making some contacts and everything. You got to start somewhere. So that is where I'm envisioning the next 12 months.
For sure. Do you have a plan to get there already in place or?
Of course.
Okay. Yeah, for
Hey,
sure.
gotta have strategy. I
Yeah,
help
yeah.
business owners with their strategic planning, their 3 to 5 year strategic plans. And I also have one for my own business. So I gotta practice what I preach here.
What's been the hardest part for you about, staying consistent while juggling all of this? It sounds like you're pretty busy, you're wearing a lot of hats. How do you balance everything?
Oh, so you're asking what helps me get through all of this?
I guess so, yeah.
Oh my goodness. Staying consistent. First off, like I told my clients, you got to figure out what consistent means for you. Yes, you can be old school and open a dictionary, or you could put it in Google, or ask whatever AI what does consistent mean. You're gonna get a definition. Okay, what to do? You still got to figure out what that means for you. Some people's consistent is daily. Some people's consistent is every other day, once a month, twice a week, whatever. You got to figure out what it means for you. Because once you figure that out, then that's how you're going to measure your actions. Because part of what I tell people all the time, and you see it across all my social media, is solutions plus actions equals results. So once you figure out your solution for what consistency means for you, then you have to take the actions to help you truly be consistent. Then you look at the results of that consistency. So you get to measure yourself against yourself. So if you decide consistent is once a month, then 3 months pass and you haven't done the action, you got to figure out why. You got to figure out what stopped you from actually doing what you said was consistency for you. Because once we stop being consistent based off of our definition, then we start to get those negative emotions coming in, like that anxiety and that worry, and the stress goes up, and Sometimes the eating goes up, and then the health issues come into play, then the headaches and the burnout, the negativity, the negative interactions with friends, with families, we might start to withdraw, all because we stopped doing an action that we said was important for our own business. So for me, I always make sure I'm staying consistent with what it means for me for that specific project, because sometimes it varies by project as well. And I realized that I have the ability to make the adjustment. Just because I said, hey, I'm going to show up every month and then I don't do it, that doesn't mean I should go into a downward spiral. What I see is an opportunity for reflection. Okay, what stopped me from showing up for 3 months? What were the things that maybe took my attention? And can I get back on track? Or is this something that is no longer serving a purpose for my business for moving forward? So actually taking the time to kind of evaluate what's stopping you from being consistent, that has helped me to make the necessary adjustments. And it has also helped my clients with making necessary adjustments.
Hmm. Yeah, no, I agree. And that's been a recurring thing that I've heard on these shows is people get stuck in analysis paralysis a lot.
Uh-huh.
Um, what's one tip that you have to, get people out of it? Can you help them, or is it something that you have to do for yourself exclusively?
it it is something I do help business owners with doing. And for some people, it actually is ironically a strength of theirs, being able to analyze different things, right? But then over analyzing can get you with not making any action whatsoever.
Yeah.
So you do have to understand that you can analyze, but you do have to get to a point where you take action. Because if you never take the action, then all your analysis just doesn't mean anything. Because we can sit down and analyze and say, okay, we take this route, we're going to get this outcome. But until we actually take the action, we're not going to be aware of all the many variables that are truly at play that can either help us reach that outcome much quicker than we thought, or it could be even more successful than we thought, or it could be none of it works whatsoever. So what really contributes to the paralysis part is fear. It's the fear of what if I analyze all of this and I'm wrong? And that stops a lot of people because they don't want to fail. But the thing is that if you take the action, you will never know if it is truly going to take you to a failure or to the success that you truly thought was going to happen. It is a risk. If you're an entrepreneur, it's all about the risk. If you want to be successful, you do have to take the risk. You can look at any one of the billionaires out there that you might be following, listeners might be following, and you're going to see they took risks. Did every risk lead to a success? Probably not. But it did lead to one of the most important things, and that is a lesson. And without taking the action, we don't get to experience the lessons that we can learn from to help us to be even better.
Absolutely. Okay, well, a few minutes left here, so we're going to move into the final section. It's a quick rapid fire. So I'm going to ask you a few questions. You got, 20, 30-second answers, just whatever's on the top of your head, okay?
Okay.
All right. Number one, what's the biggest myth about business visibility?
That it's all about marketing and spending a lot of money.
So what is it about that?
It is about understanding your business and
Okay.
knowing your vision, your mission, and direction you want to go, the purpose that you have behind your business.
Okay. Interesting. And what's one action that a founder can take this week to help start standing out?
Look at that plan, that idea that you have written down, that you have taken a picture of, that you have in your head, and do the first step of it.
Okay.
Take that action.
I agree. What's your favorite mindset principle that you live by, especially when growth gets tough or things get busy?
Solutions plus actions equals results helps you to soar.
Great. And finally, I mentioned this earlier in the podcast, but what is the best piece of advice that you ever received?
Oh my goodness.
You
I
had a
should
lot of
say
time
it
to
for
think about it.
myself. I tell people you live, you learn, and you move on. That's part of life. I can't remember where I learned that from, but it has been from the time I was a child. It's you live, you learn, and you move on.
Don't set the small stuff.
There you go.
All right, Dr. P, this was great insight. Thank you so much for joining. Where can people follow your work or learn more about PKCS?
Oh, well, I'm sure y'all put the website in the caption for this, but you
Of
can
course.
also follow the company on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on YouTube, Spotify, Pinterest. And I'm also on LinkedIn personally. So that's where we
Okay.
can found.
You're everywhere. All right. Well,
Just a
if
little
this
bit.
conversation sparks something for you, share this episode, tag Dr. P with your biggest takeaway. Until next time, I'm Jaden Parisi.